traditional taekwondo person,
Yeah.
doing absolutely fantastic forms. Now with the MMA, he's got to be able to do that form, plus some somersaults and some back handsprings, and with music.
I think martial arts are very different than other forms of sports because there's only a few other activities or disciplines that I can compare it to. And I'll make a very interesting comparison. My son skateboarded for many years. And when he skateboarded for the love of skateboarding. He didn't ever compete to win a trophy. He just got out there every day and he skated. It was an art form. The minute the X Games came in, there was a whole group of skaters that said, you know what, we didn't get into this to compete, we just want to skate. We just are happy skating. And I think martial arts are that way in the sense that there's an entire group that just says, you know what, I just want to work out. I don't want to compete. And then there's another group that takes it to the next level and shows that if you master this and you do compete, where the level can take you. But where it changes is, especially today with social media, people no longer do things just for the reason of doing something. When you fought in the 60s and you guys beat each other up, there were no cameras on. There was nobody rewarding you for what you did. You did it because you loved to do it and you were growing. Today, the narrative's changed. People only do things so it benefits themselves. And that's why there is an Instagram culture. That's why there is a Twitter culture, because the narrative has changed. So there is a large group of people that still do things just for the art form. But the problem is today, it's never going to go back. The reason why is because we live in a fishbowl. Every move we do. Imagine today if you were born, your entire life is documented. Can you imagine if there was Facebook when you guys in the 60s? I would have loved to have seen that because I was like, I would have loved to have seen those dojo fights back then.
Those memories are there.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah, right.
So
You don't want anybody to see.
yeah. So on one hand, what social media has done today, it's put us in this fishbowl. But on the other hand, the great thing about it, everything is documented now, and I love watching videos and Super 8 millimeter films of tournaments that are in black and white. I'm like, those are treasures to me. I wish that was more documented.
But you know, YouTube is good news and bad news. Because, well, I mean, look, if it weren't for guys like Bill and guys like you and Joe and Chuck, Black Belt Magazine wouldn't have anything to talk about, right? I mean, they're still talking about guys from 60 years ago.
But here's what's interesting. So, I have a really good friend of mine that's a very successful MMA promoter, and we were talking about this the other day. Today, if people want to learn, and I travel around the world, and I get this all the time, there are people around the world that still learn, not formally, but through YouTube, by watching you, by watching you, by watching you. You have thousands of students that you don't even know about simply because of YouTube. Simply because of YouTube, because they're able to say, what did he do? And there was a time probably when you guys were first training, the only thing you probably had was a photo or a picture or a memory.
I had these guys on my wall.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
You're carrying it on for everybody else now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, I had great images. I mean, I had Joe on my wall. I was like,
Can you imagine if you had YouTube back then?
Man, yeah.
Oh, really?
But you know, the flip side of it is I trained with a stick fighting master named Anthony Kleeman, and he's a great fighter. And he says when he goes to teach a seminar now, he's got people in his class who are telling him how it should be done because they saw it on YouTube.
Oh, God.
Well, you know, the difference between that is the key to all of us is we have experience. It's not memorized martial arts, it's ownership. We own the experience behind what we do,
Yes.
which is our riches. Because when we leave this earth, we're not taking our house, our car, or anything else, but we are taking our experience
Right.
of what we know to be true to us. That is what the world is missing. The reality, easier, memorize martial arts or ownership.
Right.
Memorize kickboxing or ownership.
Right.
Do you own it? And the only way you can own it is to actually have experience behind it. Otherwise, you're talking, but it has no meaning behind it. It has no depth because it's just a talk. It's just a word. People use words lightly. There has no meaning behind it. You know, so when we talk about honor, man, from the biblical days, they had something. Now,
Speaking of the honor, in 1974, I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana, teaching for a guy named Kenny Knutson. Hell of a fighter, Chicago area, hell of a fighter. I get this phone call from a guy named Red West. And he calls me up and he says, just a minute, Elvis wants to talk to you. So he calls me up and he says, yeah, hello. And he said, yeah, I want you to come back to Memphis. He wants to open karate school. So he has a place to train, to work out. And he says, I want you to think about it. Okay. A good amount of money. So I hang up the phone. Maybe 5 minutes later, I get the call from Mike Anderson. Mike says, Bill, we're starting a new competition. We're going to go over to Germany in May, and we're going to fight in this tournament over there. I said, great, I'll be your middleweight, no problem at all. I said, Bill, you don't understand. It's full contact. What do you mean? He said, it's to the knockout. Mike, you have a wonderful time. Enjoy yourself. You guys have a great time. Because right now, I could be sparring with Benny, or I could buy Steve, or George, or Kenny, or Dave, and throw a kick at your face and think, I could have killed you. I could have killed you. I don't want to have to prove it. And I don't want to have you prove it against me. So I said, no. So Joe gets on the line. Now, Joe's a year and a half my senior in Okinawa Shorin-ryu. And I said, no, Joe, I don't want to do it. You're going to do it. No, I don't want to do it. Joe, Bill, you're going to do it. No, I don't want to do it. Bill, you're going to do it. Okay. Because, the time the seniors come into play anymore doesn't
Yes,
happen
sir.
anymore.
That's it, right?
Your instructor tells you something, I'll think about it. But after a while, it comes back to where Joe's been my senior since the beginning of time. Even though he's gone, he's still a year and a half my senior. So you listen to what they say. You say, yes, I'll do it. No, I won't do it. But I'm finally going to do it because he's your senior.
Yeah, I think that's a modern instructor flaw, actually, not a student flaw. I think that, at my school, I'm intolerant. I'm like my Korean instructors were. I do not take disrespect in any way, shape, or form. And so all my students are disciplined. I have you've been there, right? I have wonderful students, and they're very respectful. They live by the tenets. They're warriors, right? And so we can breed that, but it takes the teachers to be intolerant of anything, like holding the line, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to say something. When I was training, when I was very young, there was a group of black belts, and I've never said this. Today, when you look at somebody, you admire them and you say, oh man, that person's great. He's really great. We love his skill. When we were young and watching you compete, we didn't say, oh, Benny, we love him because he's a champion. This is really crazy. We all looked at you as the most dangerous man in the world. Like a living, I'm getting chills right now.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Not like just a champion.
gentle Ben.
Like we would not say, yeah, he could win. We would say, he could kill you. I mean, imagine that thought. Not this guy could win. This guy, when you watch a movie like The Equalizer, and he goes in and he kills everyone, and everyone's just dead.
Yeah.
That's the way we looked at you. Like, you could kill everyone. I can't think of someone today. Floyd Mayweather walks into a bar. Yeah, he's good. Is he going to kill everyone? That's the way we looked at you. And maybe it was because of the era that you came up through where you guys just beat the shit out of each other and walked out like, okay, it's Tuesday. Or it's like, you don't have that today anymore.
That's why I die so well. They hired me because I die well.
I mean that. I mean, Michael, do you know what I mean? I'm getting chills.
Yeah. I remember, when you went over to Hawaii and fought King of the Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, you beat Dana Goodson, who was bigger than me, and you beat the crap out of him. And it's just like, that dude is bad.
But see, you know what that does?
What?
That makes every person, whether you're in America or in the rest of the world, say, you know what, I'm not the biggest guy, I'm not the fastest guy, but here's a guy that went up against Goliath and just kicked the shit out of him.
Right.
And what that does is that gives people hope.
Yeah.
That gives people hope.
I'll just put it this way. I tell you the truth, I've never hit anybody out of anger, bitter.
Really?
to me was a sport. When they hit me.
So it was
and
fun.
the reason why
So it was fun.
I acknowledge it
There's
is
a,
because
there's a
it
big
was.
difference between this guy and
Shot.
Matt. They said it was fun.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
enjoy hitting you because it's fun.
I think Al Pacino and Scarface said that after he killed the guy.
Gentlemen, you know, right now, we're running out of time. The sun is coming down.
Yes, sir.
But the most important of all is truly, it's not only an honor, and I say this from my heart, it's not only an honor sitting in the presence of all of us, hey, and for all of you. Because why? What's important to me is I cherish this. This is what I take with me. Okay? I won't take anything else with me but this.
Yeah.
And this is my story, and I'm going to tell it my way, just like you tell it your way.
We're friends.
Yeah.
You know, we're friends.
Yeah.
You know, we're all friends. It's not like he's better than me.
We're
Or
brothers.
your brother. And so who cares? It doesn't matter. I'm too old. You're too bald.
All right, I know.
So damn cute.
Kind of bald.
I'm like the luckiest person. I'm so, you know, you have no idea. I mean,
He's just in between us.
yeah, exactly, between these two, who are both instructors of mine, where I started out as a kid in the projects, and, you know, and I have these direct connections. This man, I trained with him when I was